Monday, February 4th, 2019 at 5 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please, and request roll call.
Peterson? Here. Staton?
Here.
Carpenter? Here. Molly? Here. Boudreaux? Here. Lish? Here. Jacobson? Here.
Thank you. Item 3 is public appearances. The village administrator asked that we pull these off the agenda tonight. Mr. Tice is still working on his figures, so they're not quite ready, which means we don't do the 3 and 4. So we'll go to item 5, village attorney, village administrator. Item A, follow-up to December 18, 2018 discussion regarding open meetings law requirements and guidelines, including the formation of working groups comprised of committee and commission members and village board members attending Affordable Housing Coalition meetings.
I'll speak to this briefly. So Mike and I have had some further conversations about how to address this question of how many of you could talk together and avoid an open meeting law violation. As you may recall, I went through an analysis that described a negative quorum scenario where it was, well, if it takes 4 trustees to have a quorum, then conceivably 2 trustees talking together could qualify as a negative quorum and a violation. Looking more deeply into that issue, including with Claire Silverback of the Wisconsin Municipalities, I had. Who's his wife? That's my wife. Should I tell him what she said?
Absolutely.
She said, "That's ridiculous." That's what she said. And then we talked more about what that meant, that it was ridiculous. And the conclusion was that I came to, and I think Claire would agree, is that it's possible for 2 to be a violation. I can't say that it isn't, but that in order for there to actually be a violation, it's going to require more evidence than just 2 people were talking. It's going to require that there was some understanding that the 2 people had an awareness that they constituted a negative quorum, that they would have the ability to affect how an issue is going to be decided, and there was some intent to circumvent the law or to work outside a meeting to plan for a meeting, for example. The long and the short of this is ultimately I can't give you a number and say as long as you're always operating at this number or with less than this number, you are always good, or this is never a violation. Because under the right facts, 2 could be a violation, but it is going too far to say it wouldn't be the case that 2 is always a violation. It would require something more than simply 2 of you talking with a 7-member board with a 4-person quorum. And Mike was concerned that if we change the quorum requirement simply to address this issue, that we're going to have times when we don't have a quorum. In fact, there were like 2 meetings
Right after this.
after this discussion where if we had increased the quorum requirement up to 5, we wouldn't have had enough people.
Correct.
So I think what we're thinking is, let's keep the quorum requirement as is, and the advice to trustees, members of committees, and commissions is, one number I can give you, if there is a quorum of you meeting, then you definitely have a legal problem, because there's a presumption in the law that that's a meeting. If it's less than a quorum, then I would just caution you to be mindful of, are we meeting for the purpose of avoiding the open meeting law requirement? Are we trying to plan strategy for how we're going to get something done at a meeting, for example? If that's what you're doing, that's a problem. If, on the other hand, 2 of you are talking about an issue, even if it's a village issue, if you're doing so in a way where you're not anticipating that you're going to have the ability to control an outcome at a meeting, you're not attempting to contravene the open meetings law, you don't need to be concerned about it. I wish there were a bright line to easy test where I could just say, here's the line, and if you're here, it's a violation, and if you're here, it's not. It's not that simple. But it definitely was ridiculous to say that 2 of you can't talk without there being a violation. That was overstating the case. So that's it.
Except that we still will be careful when the park board says, 2 of you can work, we're still going to notice that. And Matt did feel like, because now we're having this consistent 2 or 3 of you showing up for the Housing Coalition meetings, I'm still going to notice those. So we're still gonna do those. And, like I noticed the chamber dinner, for example, I'm still gonna keep doing all those types of things, so, yep.
Yeah, the housing authority is a good example. So let's just say only 2 of you are showing up or 3 of you are showing up. It's not a quorum. But it's a fact, the fact that it's regular and this is going on for some period of time and you're discussing policy issues that may come before the board, those are the kind of factors that I think would go into an analysis of whether there's a violation or not. And so if you know that 3 of you are meeting every month for a year to talk about an issue that might be coming before the board at some point, that's a different fact than 2 of you just happened to decide to talk while you were meeting at the coffee shop about something spontaneously. Those are the kind of factors that I think you have to pay attention to. Does that make sense?
Are there questions for Matt, anyone? Okay, thanks, Matt. That takes us to approval of minutes. We have minutes from October 15, 2018, which is our second 2019 budget meeting, and January 21, 2019.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any additions or corrections? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 7, we have vouchers tonight to approve in the amount of $689,350.42.
I'll move that.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions? Any questions tonight?
I don't have any tonight.
Okay, I guess there won't be
Jeff's
any.
doing a good job of hiding this stuff.
We're getting better, aren't we?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve vouchers in the amount of $689,350.42. Roll call, please.
Glish,
Yes.
Staton,
Yes.
Carpenter,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Boudreaux,
Yes.
Follig,
Yes.
Thanks, that motion carries. We'll go to item 8, community input. Anyone in the audience who would like to address the board tonight? Judy, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Judy Knudsen I'm the Executive Director of the Oregon Chamber, and I just wanted to thank all of you for coming to our awards dinner the other night, and thank you for supporting our businesses in the community. So thank you again.
So Judy, in that regard, I had a Stoughton Hospital Board meeting the following Monday night, and they had a table full of people from Stoughton Hospital. They were very complimentary of the event and how that all went, so
Great.
nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, item 9, proclamations and announcements. A, any board comments?
I'd just like to know where the picture came from that's up on the screen right now. That's probably from the,
1952, taken from the water tower.
okay.
I have a series of them I'm going to try to scan and put up around the building eventually, but, yeah, kind of neat. It shows, this is downtown looking north towards Quick Trip and Grove Street.
Right, and there was another street in front of it. You can see the corner store there. There was a street that ran in front of there. That
Right.
came off of Janesville.
Yeah. I was requested to put up something Oregon on there versus the
Yeah.
running person.
Where'd you find that?
Found those
You made
both
a
in
big
my
deal
office.
about it.
Really?
Where was that, Jeff?
In my office,
Okay.
yeah.
Mike was talking, so I didn't hear what you said. Sorry, that's a school background. Okay,
You don't have to listen to them.
That's true.
oh, yeah. So, any other staff comments? And everybody else over here, any board comments? Nobody? Okay, so staff?
I just have the meeting schedule on the agenda.
So the meetings are there coming up. And then item 10, communication to miscellaneous business. Item A, you want to read that one. Status of downtown dumpsters.
I had it on, I took it off, I thought, well, I better make sure that the board understands why I didn't do what the motion was, which was to remove the dumpsters on last Thursday, because I've been working with Bridget, still working with Bridget from the main tap, and I told her I'd give her some time, so that's why they're not gone, so.
But there's no dumpster corral.
There's no corral, but the dumpsters are still there,
Okay.
yeah. And I was the motion was to pull them off, but I've been emailing her, and she's still trying to figure out what she's gonna do at the main tap, so I'm giving her some time to work on it.
We're all okay with that, right? Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's fine. Good call, Mike.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Item B, discussion of possible action regarding the Public Works Cold Storage Building. Change order number 1, recommended motion. Approve the change order from Supreme Structures in the amount of $17,486.73 for the Public Works Cold Storage Building foundation improvements, cold weather concrete, and concrete pumping, as outlined in the change order dated 11/15/2018.
I'll make that motion for discussion.
Thank you.
Um,
We need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
okay. Was this a budgeted, item?
Change orders are never budgeted.
No, no.
But, you know, this, yeah, what this change order mostly comprises is comprised of, when they start excavating for the foundation, we have a geotechnical engineer on site that has to verify the bearing capacity of the soil. And if the bearing capacity is not there, they make them over excavate it. So that's a significant portion of this change order. The other portions involve some cold weather concreting and everything. I think you'll notice in my notes in there, my explanation too, is Supreme Structure kind of acknowledged that, that they would pick up a certain portion of it, and they picked up $5,000 worth of the change order, so it would actually be 22 something if they didn't do that, so. But, no, change orders are never budgeted, but the total cost of the building was $575,500 was the contract price, and this is less than 3%. So
Okay.
that's pretty good for something like this.
Yeah, I misstated my question. I know that change orders are a change to the budget.
Right, exactly.
Um,
Well, I guess I always look at something as whether or not it's in a contingency, a lot of times we kind of say, okay, in a contingency, this is well within what we would expect for contingency
Good.
of this
So
type of
where's the
project.
extra money gonna come from?
The village.
Okay, a little bit more detail than that.
Well, we're gonna have to, it'll come out of the Fund 404? 414.
Yep.
But we'll be evaluating that. We may have to pull it out of something that we have from this year.
So you still have to juggle some funds around?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And Lisa's on board with that?
She's
nodding her
juggling.
head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's
Sure.
414?
That's our equipment fund.
Okay,
405 is streets and 414 is equipment.
Yeah,
So we had the same issues with the youth center.
yeah,
We had to raise another 30,000 to fix the soil,
yeah.
which is not great there, that area.
And given the year we have too, this
Yeah.
is, the other thing is, things are just wet and stuff. But I will say this is, the building is scheduled to be totally completed as of the end of this week. And we'll be starting to move our stuff out of the temporary storage that we have off-site that we're paying for back into our storage shed. I do intend this spring, when weather improves and we get some stuff moved in there, to have kind of an open house to invite the village board down and the public down, just to be able a chance to go through it. Plus, give them a chance to really get everything cleaned up nicely for spring, so.
Any other questions or comments on this item? Thanks, Jeff. We have the motion and second then to approve the change order, the amount of $17,486.73 for the Public Works Cold Storage Building. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item C, discussion of possible action regarding the Police Department Explorer 2013 Polaris Ranger Crew 8000. Recommended motion is to approve the Police Department selling this equipment through auction.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
This was a UTV that was purchased for the Explorer program. It was primarily used for the events when they went up to Oshkosh, I
Flying.
believe, for the flying event up there. It just is basically taking up space in our garage, and time to go with the Explorer Post.
Have you talked to Chief Linsmeyer at all?
Yep.
Can you see use for the EMTs?
I've talked to him, I've talked to the school, I've talked to a bunch of folks, and they don't have any use for it, so.
Other questions or comments?
so the proceeds go back into your budget then, chief?
I hope so.
We,
It just goes back into the fund
so Brian and I are gonna
balance
have
for
a debate
414.
about
Whoa,
that.
whoa, how many people talking, what now?
Brian and I are gonna have a debate about that. Typically, when an auction happens, it goes back into 414, as Lisa was
Okay.
explaining. But Brian's raising a good point with me this morning in an email, that these are donated funds, so we may have to treat them a little bit differently, so
Okay,
that's to be determined.
all right, thank you.
We're gonna arm wrestle for it.
Good luck, Brian.
So where are you gonna put the money, chief?
I have planned uses for it, so we'll see if it works out.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we have the motion second to approve the police department selling the Explorer 2013 Polaris Ranger Crew 8000. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item D, discussion possible action regarding 2018 budget amendment number 5. The recommended motion is to approve that. So we need that motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this?
So Lisa, you want to explain this for a second?
Sure. This is just kind of cleaning up some of the things that were approved during the year last year with our market adjustment that was approved for October 6th through the end of the year. And then also truing up the Public Works Department based on what they actually were assigned and worked on throughout the year versus how we had budgeted. A lot of that's weather related and what they can get to, so we just kind of true it up so that it's more realistic then as we go on to future years when we're budgeting. So.
Okay.
Any surprises, Lisa?
No, actually, the Public Works was really close this year. If you look, there's not a lot of big dollar amounts
No,
that were
no, that's, yeah.
adjusted around, so.
All right, thank you.
Throw darts in the dark, you're about to hit something eventually, right?
Any questions or comments? Okay, so we have the motion second to approve budget, 2018 budget amendment number 5. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. A note that Saturday, March 2nd, affordable workforce housing tour from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. with the Oregon Housing Coalition. That'll start right here.
Either here or actually we may even start in the senior center parking lot. We're trying to figure
Okay.
out where to do that. Most likely here. And also, there'll be more
Yeah,
information
right.
coming. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 11, report of committees, there are none. 12, minutes not requiring action, there are none. No unfinished business. New business on licenses, there are none. Takes us down to item 16. The board may meet in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute, section 19.851C, to consider performance evaluation data relating to a village employee.
And that's it, Steve. We don't need the second part.
Oh, that's right. we
Excuse
don't.
me for
Okay, thank- No,
interrupting.
that's fine, thanks. So we need that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you,
I'll second.
thank you.
Are
Roll
we
call,
still
please.
planning on adjourning from closed session?
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Carpenter,
Yes.
Boudreaux,
Yes?
Follig,
Yes.
Staton,
Yes.
Glish.
Yes.
That motion carries. We will be in closed session. We'll stay right here and we'll adjourn from closed session.
I hate long meetings like this.
15 minutes.